I wanted to tell you guys about the Chilipad. Love this. It's so good. There is definitely a learning curve for this. Basically, so I wanted to just share some tips that have helped me so far to help you make the adjustment, to figure out how to make this thing work to the best of your ability. So we have it, my husband set it up, helped me set it up, but it's really not that hard. So you have this tube right here that connects into the component that does the cooling and everything like that. Fill this thingy up, and so this is the thing. You got to make sure to keep it, not to have it too bended, because then it's just like a water hose. You got to keep it 18 inches around free space, so that it's just like a fan too. Like when you have a fan, you have to make sure that there's enough space. Like you can't just have it against the wall, a fan. It's not going to blow the figure. It's going to get a better bed frame that goes really high, so that I can actually put this under there and it'll still have plenty of air around it. But it has these straps. Sorry. It has these straps that will help you to fit it onto the mattress. So I have the tube. They say, I think that they do say to like have the tube part at the head of the bed. I think they say that you can do it both ways, but I have it at the head of the bed. But I suppose you could do it the other way, but just with the plug-in and everything, it would be too much of a complication to do it that way. Yeah, basically it's like a mattress pad. Well, not a mattress pad, but like I want to say like an electric blanket actually. It's kind of like that. What's nice is that it cools up. It can go cool and warm. It goes up to from 55 degrees to 115 degrees. And I tell you, you don't need it to be 55 degrees. You can literally have it at like 70 degrees. What helps me so much is that my stomach, I don't know if it's for anybody else who's dealing with menopause, but my stomach gets so hot at night. And maybe because this is memory foam on here, maybe it just conducts heat, because I've heard that that's what can happen. We have this now. You will deal with, because there are tubes in here. You can actually feel them, but it's not like uncomfortable at all. You will deal with condensation. Now you might be a little annoyed going, look, I'm dealing with sweating. Why do I have to now deal with condensation? That's like counterintuitive, whatever those words, because I'm menopausal and I'm just, I used to be really good with everything with words and stuff, but no longer. But anyway, here's the thing. So sometimes when you go to bed, it's going to feel slightly damp, okay? And so my recommendation also, I feel like this is the only thing you should really get is the Chilipad. Maggie's going to demonstrate. Okay, let's talk about it with Maggie here. She's so entertaining. Really, so what happened with me is I got the sheets. I think it's sheets or sheiks. Cooling sheets. I had gotten a cooling mattress topper. I got a cooling blanket, and now that I have the Chilipad, I don't need any of those. In fact, I get cold. So to me, you should get the Chilipad if you deal with sweating at night, and even if you're someone who deals with inflammation at night. Like I wish I had this a long time ago. Get this instead. Don't waste your money, because those things, like those sheets, were like hundreds of dollars, and I'm like, dang, I could have just saved a lot of money. This is expensive, but they do have a payment plan. That's what I'm doing, because there's no way I could have shelled out the money. I think this is like $200 or maybe even more than that, but it's worth every penny. Seriously. Spend your money on that. Don't get the cooling sheets and all this, that, and the other. So what I do with the condensation, so this does have condensation. So sometimes when you come to bed, it will feel damp, and that's annoying. And nobody wants to go to sleep on a damp bed. And already, I don't know about you, but sometimes when I've gone to bed, the moisture from sweat or whatever can feel wet, and so I'm always trying to avoid that as much as possible. So that can happen with this. But here's my solution, okay? So what you guys want to do is you want to get like some kind of like your flannel flannel sheet, or some kind of cotton kind of lightweight blanket and you want to put it over this. That's what you want to do. So that, and also you want to air this out. So when I have to, like, that's the other thing is, like, after you get up, you need to shake this and let it air out properly, just to hopefully help deal with the condensation. See, Maggie's like really enthralled. And then I leave it out for a while, for a few hours. Did you just burp? Anyway, I'll leave it out for a few hours and then I set it up, which is what I'm doing right now. I wanted to kind of take you through what I do. Put it over this. You're going to put it over this. Another thought is a towel. You want to put a towel over, do the sheet, put the sheet, and then a towel over it. The problem with the towel is that it needs to be like a full body towel, because otherwise it's going to start to wrinkle and get uncomfortable unless you tuck it really good under the bed. Right now, I'm still kind of trying like different ideas. I did the towel that rolls up. I did a flannel sheet that worked really well, because the other part of it is that what happens is you're going to feel really good initially. You're going to feel cool once you get a hot flash, but then you know how your body changes, your temperature changes, and so what happens is you start to get cold. That's why you want something like this. You don't really want like a regular sheet. I'm going to put this directly over it, and that will help those times later in the night when you do get cold, because you will get cold. And if you don't really want to deal with constantly adjusting with the remote, because see, that's the other part. Hopefully someday they'll invent something where it can be like directly on the mattress pad and you can just hit. So like you can, I'm not going to turn it on. I don't want to turn it on, but this is the cool and this is the heat. So that's what I do to kind of just mitigate that in the middle of the night, because nobody wants to get up in the middle of the night and have to adjust it, even though it's right by my bed. So let me show you how I have the bed set up. So I just put the one blanket that I thought I was going to put on, had too many holes in it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I have this directly over the Chilipad, and now I'm going to tuck it in so that it doesn't, so it stays in place. It's going to also help the Chilipad stay in place. And why I have this also is that I think there's something called neuropathy, where you can be really sensitive to temperature changes. So sometimes when you get into bed, like even in the summertime, when you're, the sheets can be relatively cool, right? And you want that. But initially when you get to bed, if you're feeling hot and getting into bed with like a regular sheet, will feel it's not comfortable to get into bed. So this is a little bit, I want to say warmer. Sometimes what I've also used is, excuse me Maggie, is I've used a plush blanket to get into bed so that it still feels somewhat cool, but not too cold, and it's soft against the skin. And so that's kind of like the idea of why I have this here too, because it's hard to explain, but sometimes when I get into bed, if I use like a regular sheet, it's too cool to the skin and it kind of almost is painful. So that's why I have this. But at the same time, the Chilipad will still be cool. And the other part of it is that having this slightly thicker will help still keep you cool. But sometimes, like if it gets kind of cold at night, it's not going to be as cold because you have a slight layer. And the next layer is a microfiber blanket. So I will be laying on this, and underneath, I'll be laying underneath this. This is the soft side. And that is, you want to have it kind of tucked in off to the side so that, again, when you start to get cold, you can just pull this over under your covers and stay warm. Now look, I know this is complicated. I know, like, my husband's like, you do so much. Sleep is so important for me. If I don't sleep good, it's just never going to be a good day. So I do these things and it helps. So hopefully sharing these things, maybe you can't do all of these things, So try, just experiment, take my video in mind and try little things here. Here's this sheet. And that is for coolness. So if I start to get hot, I want to pull that, did I say microfiber? I meant plush blanket. Pull that off to the side and just cover myself with the sheet so I can stay cool, tired out. Anyway, so this comforter is a Laura Ashley comforter that keeps you cool but also keeps you warm. So I like that kind of combination. So it's breathable, I guess. So that's the next layer, is this lovely plush blanket. It's so soft against the skin. I love plush for pajamas and blankets, and I highly recommend that for your bed. Lastly, pillows. So once again, I had gotten a bunch of cooling pillows, and honestly, I don't think, when you have the Chilipad, you don't really need that much more bedding. However, these are great. You know, these are the, look, if you want cooling pillows, they're good. You can definitely feel the difference. But honestly, all you need is the Chilipad. The way I have my pillows is I have this one. This is a firm pillow. This is a mushy pillow. So firm pillow is like, I can't remember. But anyway, I think a mushy pillow is like a side sleeper pillow. I don't know. Anyway, it's soft and yeah. And then I have this last one for between my legs. Sorry, that's Maggie's fur right there. Yeah. That's anyway, pretty much everything. This is how I have it. And then, so I have the different layers. Hey, cutie pie. Hello. Lastly, what I have is a fan. Now, again, with having the Chilipad, I almost don't need it. I usually have the fan on high right by my face. Honestly, it's getting to the point where I don't really need it, so I'm experimenting with not having it, but I do have a fan by my bed. The Chilipad so far, I'm just like a super happy camper with it. I highly recommend it. So basically, this is exactly how I have it set up, like this. Eventually, I'm going to get a bed frame that's going to be very high off the floor, and there will be a lot more room around it. So it's kind of like how I have it set up next to my bed.